Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to tonight's episode of Poetry Live. Tonight, I'm going to be reading some William Butler Yeats to you all, and for the first time in something like 314 shows, I have hiccups. But when you think about it, when you try to think about it, at least, when you think about it, doing 315 shows and only getting hiccups once, that's not too bad, is it? I mean, I think 314 shows and then catching hiccups once, that's pretty solid. I need to check with some other scopers out there, see how far they've managed to go on this, but I think that's a pretty solid innings. If you can do another 314 shows, hiccup, before we reach the end, then I'd be happy with that. Anyway, how are we all this evening? This is awful as well, because at the end of this show, my plan was to go and do a load of video messaging on Twitter again, because I haven't done it for a bit. So, doing that when still doing this, daft. Anyway, Seri, I'm glad that you're great. Glad that Rabbit's bunny is going to sleep. Oh, you should see, by the way, you should follow Black Rabbit on Instagram just to see her rabbit asleep to yesterday's show. Siri, it's SimonTellsTales. All my social media accounts are SimonTellsTales. So Facebook is SimonTellsTales. Instagram is, Twitter is, Snapchat is, although I don't do Snapchat. So if you follow me on Snapchat, you'll find nothing. But follow me anyway. But yes, always Simon Tells Tales. And yes, Rabbit, she was insanely cute. I like pictures of animals, you know, relaxing to the hiccup to the show. It makes me happy to know that it's calming them down. Oh, bloody hell. Will you calm down, hiccups? It's no good. It's no good. Oh well, we'll deal with it as best as we might, ladies and gents, and try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and get in now to do some poems, and you're going to be very, very kind and an awesome audience, and you're going to bear with me as I read these poems to you all in fantastic performance. And sometimes there is a high chance that I might break off to do some hiccuping, but we're just going to let that be, because, you know, we'll just let it be. We'll just let it be. We'll accept the fact that tonight is going to be Simon doing a wee bit of hiccups, but it'll all turn good in the end. So, he's always hiccuping. This is the hiccuping show. We just come to watch him out of sympathy and because we're taking bets on how many hiccups can he do per show. You're all part of some underground gambling syndicate who's taking sweepstakes on how many hiccups I'll do, and you've got little counters somewhere. And you've got mega millions of bucks going backwards and forwards on it. I see what you're doing. I see. Nothing gets past me. Anyway. This, ladies and gents, is The Secret Rose. Everybody needs sympathy followers now and then. Far off, most secret and in violet rose. Enfold me in my hour of hours, where those who sought thee in the holy sepulchre, or in the wine vat, dwell upon the stir and tumult of defeated dreams, and deep among pale eyelids heavy with the sleep, men have named beauty. Thy great leaves enfold the ancient beards, the helms of ruby and gold of the crowned magi, and the king, whose eyes saw the pierced hands and rude of elder rise in druid vapour, and make the torches dim, till vain frenzy awoke and he died, and him whom it fanned walking among flaming dew, by a grey shore where the wind never blew, and lost the world and Emma for a kiss, and him who drove the gods out of their liss, until 100 morns that had flowered red feasted and wept the barrows of his dead. And the proud dreaming king, who flung the crown and sorrow away, and calling bard and clown, dwelt among wine-stained wanderers in deep woods, and told him who sold tillage and house and goods, and sought through lands and islands numberless years, until he found with laughter and with tears a woman of so shining loveliness that men threshed corn at midnight by a tress, a little stolen tress. I too await the hour of thy great wind of love and hate. When shall the stars be blown about the sky like the sparks blown out of a smithy, and die? Surely thine hour has come, thy great wind blows far off, most secret, and in violet rose. There, and that, ladies and gents, is the secret rose. Yeats, creating this beautiful, gorgeous island of myth and burial of barrows and all that good stuff. I think at the weekend I was stood on top of a barrow, by the way. Not sure if I was on a barrow, but I think I may have been stood on top of an old barrow on the Yorkshire Dales. I was looking for an Iron Age fort, and possibly I found a barrow instead. Very, very likely, I think. I should show a picture of it. I'll put a picture of it on Instagram so you can see what might be a barrow, but also might not. You can make up your own decision. Anyway, that was Secret Rose. I'll put it on later. I'll put it on later then. And as you can see, it seems that reading poetry manages to cure hiccups. So there, ladies and gents, let's add that to the list of old wives' cures for hiccups. Reading poetry the next time you've got hiccups. Try reading it aloud and see just what it does for you. I'll patent that. Patent that down. Oh, we can do Dylan Thomas another night, Andy. We'll do Dylan Thomas next week if you'd like. We've got a slot next Monday. So so next Monday we could do some Dylan Thomas then. I do like doing a bit of Dylan Thomas. But to continue, tonight we continue with Yeats. This is To a Shade. If you have revisited the town, thin shade, whether to look upon your monument, I wonder if the builder has been paid, or happier thoughted when the day is spent to drink of that salt breath out of the sea, when grey gulls flit about instead of men, and the gaunt houses put on majesty. Let these content you, and be gone again, for they are at their old tricks yet. A man of your own passionate serving kind, who had brought in his full hands what had they only known, had given their children's children loftier thoughts, sweeter emotion working in their veins like gentle blood, has been driven from the place, and insult heaped upon him for his pains and for his open-handedness, disgrace. Your enemy, an old foul mouth, had set the pack upon him. Go, unquiet wanderer, and gather the Glasnevin coverlet about your head till the dust stops your ear. The time for you to taste of that salt breath and listen at the corners has not come. You had enough of sorrow before death. Away, away. You are safer in that tomb. Rather sad, that. Yeats telling an old shade to return to the tomb, where it'll be happier, but there's less cruel things to upset it. Very. It's one of the things that I like about Yeats. I like the dead in Yeats's work, not to be too macabre, but I like the way he conjures forth the dead. Literally from the Irish landscape, and they're physically coming out of tombs, out of mounds. It's actually quite similar in a way to some of the stuff that Yeats was doing when he talks about the bogs. Anyway, which 2 poems? Here we go. Here we go. The next poem that I'll read you, ladies and gents, because you're good and well behaved and you're doing lots of hearts. Excellent. Siri, you need to follow me on Instagram so that you can see the ultimate knitting piece of work. Shall we show? Can I get my IG up? Wait. Because if you want to do some knitting, Siri, I'll show you the ultimate knitting project. These guys have already seen it. It is. Where is it? The ultimate sweater. Like the sweater that I just need in my life. Here you go, Siri. The Bayeux tapestry into a sweater. How is that? No free patterns. That's awful. There should be. Someone needs to contact the Bayeux Museum and demand that they produce free things. I mean, it should be, technically. I mean, that should be out of copyright by now. It's over a millennia old. It's definitely out of copyright as far as I'm concerned. So there, you can take that challenge, Siri. Can you knit the Bayeux tapestry in a sweater? That would be perfect. The offer still stands. That's right. I am having whoever's children can make that for me. Well, personally, I'd quite like the bit where, Harold gets the arrow in his eye. The challenge is on then. The challenge is set. Anyway, enough of the Bayeux tapestry. This, ladies and gents, it's worth it though, Herbert. It's totally worth it. This is the fisherman. Although I can see him still, the freckled man who goes to a grey place on a hill in grey Connemara clothes at dawn to cast his flies. It's long since I began to call up to the eyes the wise and simple man. All day I'd looked in the face what I had hoped would be to write for my own race and the reality, the living men that I hate, the dead man that I loved, the craven man in his seat, the insolent unreproved and no knave brought to buck who has won a drunken cheer, the witty man and his joke aimed at the commonest ear, the clever man who cries the catch cries of the clown, the beating down of the wise, and the great art beaten down. Maybe a 12-month since, suddenly I began in scorn of this audience, imagining a man and his sun-freckled face and grey Connemara cloth, climbing up to a place where stone is dark under froth, and the downturn of his wrist when the flies drop in the stream, a man who does not exist, a man who is but a dream, and cried, before I am old, I shall have written him one poem, maybe as cold and passionate as the dawn. As many of you will know, I have a special love of any poems to do with fishermen or fishing. So I like that. Although the thing that I like most about it is the fact that Yeats uses Connemara in a poem. Connemara. Connemara. And yes, we have Dawn in there and Connemara. Dawn, you should change your last name to Connemara, and then Dawn Connemara. It's a fabulous thing. Dawn Connemara. Fabulous thing to say. I love. Go and say it, everyone. Just say it to yourself. Connemara. It's a wonderful word to say. Very nice thing to say. Connemara. There you go. We've given you a new radio name tonight. Done. Sorted. Lars! Dawn is changing her name to Dawn Connemara. That's how she will be known from now on. Done. Hello, Lars. Hello, come in. Hello, Sam. Welcome. It does, doesn't it? That magic of Ireland being conjured up. Dawn Connemara. That's what the zombie once said to me, Siri. Unfortunately, I had to run from the zombie because of his love of my brains. Really, Rachel? That's fascinating. Well, Rachel, you used to have. I'm sure that your current family name is wonderful as well. But Connemara sounds like a wonderful, wonderful name indeed to have. Well, I didn't realise. Well, there you go. We've learnt something. I've learnt something new. Connemara can be translated to McNamara. Anyway, one last poem for you all tonight. Ladies and gents. Well, Lars, we discovered, and you'll have to try this the next time you get hiccups, we discovered that hiccups are cured by reading poetry. If you read poetry has to be done out loud, not to yourself. Read the poetry out loud and your hiccups will magically be cured. Anyway, this is Broken Dreams. Well, I suppose I think any language at all, Loz. I think the important thing is that I suppose you must breathe differently when you're reading a poem as you do normally speaking. Just try it. It's relaxing. Don't try any sort of upbeat poem. Just go for some nice Yeats. Yeats read aloud will cure all of your hiccups. Anyway, this is Broken Dreams. there is grey in your hair. Young men no longer suddenly catch their breath when you are passing. But maybe some old gaffer mutters a blessing because it was your prayer recovered him upon the bed of death for your soul's sake, that all heart's ache have known, and given to others all heart's ache. From meagre girlhood's putting on burdensome beauty, for your soul's sake heaven has put away the stroke of her doom. So great her portion in that peace you make, by merely walking in a room. Your beauty can but leave among us vague memories, nothing but memories. A young man, when the old men are done talking, will say to an old man, "Tell me of that lady." The poet, stubborn with his passion, sang us when age might well have chilled his blood. Vague memories, nothing but memories, but in the grave all shall be renewed. The certainty that I shall see that lady leaning or standing or walking in the first loveliness of womanhood, and with the fervour of my youthful eyes has set me muttering like a fool. You are more beautiful than anyone, and yet your body had a flaw. Your small hands were not beautiful, and I am afraid that you will run and paddle to the wrist in that mysterious, always brimming lake, where those that have obeyed the holy law paddle and are perfect. Leave unchanged the hands that I have kissed, for old sake's sake. The last stroke of midnight dies, all day in the one chair. From dream to dream and rhyme to rhyme I have ranged in rambling talk with an image of air. Vague memories, nothing but memories. There, yes, Rabbit, a bit dark but beautiful in that interplay between death, the aging and the decaying, but also the fact that you are more beautiful than anyone. And actually, the thing that Yeats wants, the thing that he wants more than anything else, the beauty may have gone, but he wants to save the imperfect hands. It's the imperfect hands that he wants preserved in his memory. And yes, absolutely, Jovan, absolutely. Dark can be beautiful. And welcome to Poetry Live, by the way. Welcome to the show. We do this every night on Periscope. Well, weeknights. We don't do weekends. I'm allowed off on the weekends. But every weeknight we are here to tell these stories. Well, I don't think he wrote it for Periscope, Lars, but I do think that Yeats wrote it to be read aloud. As poetry should be, and we know by now, poetry should be read aloud. And I think that's probably what Yeats intended. It should be read, it should be shared, it should be enjoyed. And if that's what you guys got from this evening, then I am glad and more than happy to have shared it with you. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. My hiccups have gone now. You've all cured my hiccups. You and the poetry, which is awesome. You rock. I am done. Tomorrow night, we're returning to Till Bashing. Tomorrow night, I am reading from Till Bashing. We've not done it for a few weeks. I've taken a bit of a break to get back up to speed with it, but tomorrow we're getting back into the swing of things. Tail bashing, ladies and gents, begins once again tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow for some more tail bashing. It will be great fun to see you there. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you, Sari. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Black Rabbit and Karen. Thank you, Herbert. Thank you, Estella. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Lars. And welcome, Jovan. Welcome to Poetry Live. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to see you. Bye-bye.